no religion in the world that insists that its role models are infallible, except in Islam. And infallibility has to be checked. You cannot just say it. You cannot say, I'm the Pope of the Catholics, I'm infallible, and then I'm murdering people. No, no. You have to check it based on moral principles that are universal moral principles. And you have to ask the enemy, what do you think of this leader? You go and see history, how people admired the Prophet. Okay? You find Orientalists who cannot find a better human being in moral perspectives than the Holy Prophet. Even Michael H. Hart admits that no human being has affected the lives of the human race more than the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
That's why he's under attack.
Wajjal farjahu.
On a global front, he's being attacked. They make satires of him. They make cartoons of him. No one else is being attacked. Why? Because he is the axis of morality. And if you cannot bring him down, you cannot bring Islam down.
Okay, you said you have to check the role models according to moral principles, right?
Right.
You're getting your morality from those people that you're keeping in check.
What's that?
You're getting your morality from the people
Who you consider to be the best.
to be the best.
Correct.
So, but then you need to subject them to moral principles.
Absolutely. They must be subjected to moral principles.
Right?
They must be probed. They must be questioned. Okay, let's look at, for example, what are the moral principles? What are universal moral principles? They must always be humble, honest, just, never retract what they say. Okay? They must have the most sublime character. Every human being on earth knows what the sublime characters are because that's in our fitrah. That's not something you go and learn. It's something you know. Look, for example, if you go into business with somebody, okay, and the guy promises you to be a partner for 50%. And then he goes out and the client pays him $100 and he gives you $40. You know that something's wrong. What do you do now? You said, hold on, I'm supposed to get $50. How come I got 40? And he's not telling me. So you start being suspicious. Your suspicion takes you and you start checking the person even more and you find out he's a thief. Well, how do you know? Which university did you go to find that out? You don't go to university. It's already in here. You know it. You just know a liar when you meet one. Don't you agree? That's the moral principle you're going to apply to the Prophet. And the minute you say it's okay if my Prophet fornicated, it's okay if my Prophet committed haram, it's okay if he was arrogant, or it's okay if he forgot, it's okay if he slipped, well then you're going to say, if I'm going to say it's okay, then my religion is low class. For us, we categorically say it's not okay. We go to the maximum limits. And there's no religion in the world that has that except our school. I've studied this, by the way, on many fronts. I've gone to Buddhists, Christians, Jews, okay, even Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. I've questioned them on this philosophy. You find they all are flawed when it comes to this issue. They always try to bring prophets into the human factors and say, they're human like us, they make mistakes like us, but they make less mistakes than us. We, the Ja'faris, say no, they make no mistakes. And to them, it's shocking because they think this is divine. I say, why? Infallibility does not mean divinity. When I take an exam and I get 100 in my exam, that doesn't make me godly. It just makes me infallible in that exam.
I find when we put the Prophet and the Imams like on an unreachable level, it kind of is a way to find excuses for our own faults. I'm not saying everyone does it, but for example, when you approach some of our elders, for example, it's not a rule, we say, well, why don't you get violent when, for example, there's satire made on the Prophet. The Prophet himself didn't react this way. And they say, well, you can't be the Prophet, so don't even try, right? Like I find there's a problem with,
But that's,
once we're faced with improbability of
yeah, but reverse it. Assuming the Prophet was fallible, you'd say, you know, why do you want me to be the Prophet? I'm better than him. What kind of a leader is he? He's worse than me. You see, perfection is the only driving force towards progression. If you look at Allah's system, الَّذِي خَلَقَ فَسَوَّى. He creates and makes it complete, makes it proper, right? In other words, for you to have movement, perfection has to pre-exist you. Otherwise you have no movement, you have no direction. And Allah never puts anything in momentum unless it's got a direction. وَالَّذِي قَدَّرَ فَهَدَى. The hidayah cannot happen without the perfection. So when we say the Prophet is perfect, and then to use the argument he's not reachable, that's absurd. He is reachable. We can be very close to him. But the idea that you have to be him, exactly like him, is absurd. No one's asking you to do that. It's like saying, let me get near you. So when someone says, oh, I can't be like the Prophet, no one says you can, no one said for you to be like the Prophet. Get near the Prophet. Now, if you say that, well, we cannot be like the Prophet, then you say to the person, then I don't need him. Why do I need the Shahadatain? I should just say, La ilaha illallah. Forget Muhammad Rasulullah. Since he's so impractical, why do I need him? Why do I need Ahlul Bayt? So whenever somebody says that, they do that in order not to work. But you need to reverse it and say, okay, so you want him mistaken, so you can step all over him? You have two options. Either he's perfect or he's imperfect. If he's imperfect, you'll step on him. If he's perfect, you say, I can't reach him. And so you cannot give such options to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I say that perfection is a necessity, and reaching it is a necessity. But the judgment of Allah is not based on whether you became perfect. The judgment of Allah on Judgment Day is, did you struggle to reach perfection? That's different from being perfect. So I don't see a problem with that. In fact, I would take it no other way. If my Prophet and Imams are not perfect, I am not interested in following them. I'm not. I mean, I argue about this with Christians. I say, your prophets committed adultery, murder, incest, right? They were the worst creatures on earth, worst. And they are prophets of God. Shaitan does this. Shaitan makes us a laughing stock. He says, you see, your prophets couldn't even figure it out. Why bother? I've seen many Christians who don't practice. They say, the very prophets of God couldn't get it straight. Why should I? And God spoke directly to them. That's Shaitan telling you. Look, your prophet was so bad, why even bother?
But my question was